Alrighty, guys, welcome to a brand new live stream. My name is Conan, and today we're going to be talking about some of the biggest mistakes that I made before I started my fat loss journey. Now, before we get started, as you guys can tell, I am wearing my hoodie right now, and it is very, very cold. It is December 3rd. The weather is getting colder, days are getting darker, and I have said this numerous times before, but I'll say it again. During this time of year, from December 1st all the way up until January 1st, this is where most people gain 10 to 20 pounds. Not because of one single day, because no one gets fat from one day of eating, just like you don't get healthy from one day of eating, but what you do across these days, right? Where you let one bad day turn into one bad weekend. And then one bad weekend will turn into one bad week. And then that one bad week will turn into an entire bad month of eating, lack of exercise, lack of movement. And then before you know it, come January 1st, you hop on a scale, you look down and you're like, oh crap, I just gained 20 pounds of body fat. And that is when most people go to New Year's resolutions. They'll tell themselves, okay, I messed up. New year, new me. I'm going to do a really drastic challenge, a 75-day hard challenge. I'm going to just do something very extreme to lose the body fat as quickly as possible. And then your motivation is sky high. You do something, and then you end up burning yourself out 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. And then you go back to your old habits again, and then you repeat the cycle where you binge, you restrict, and then you feel bad about yourself. You're like, oh crap, I gotta change. You do something extreme again, you go hard for a couple of days, couple of weeks, and then you burn yourself out, and then you repeat the cycle. Whereas if you were to just take a sustainable approach to your fat loss and weight loss goals and just take it step by step, don't do anything too drastic, and just honestly take your time with this, you are not only going to be able to see the results you're looking for, but actually maintain them as well, because you're going to be going through the journey, through the process where you can build up the habits necessary to, once again, not only lose the weight, but then actually keep it off for good. And I don't know about you guys, but I would so much rather get six-pack abs and maintain six-pack abs year-round, as opposed to getting six-pack abs, have them for a couple of days, and then become fat again and then lose them completely. Because that is like, what is the point there? I said this to all my clients, but fitness, we wanted to obviously enhance our life and not take over our life, but more importantly, fitness, it's an infinite game, meaning that there really should not be any deadlines to it, meaning that the entire point of fitness is to stay fit, and not just to get fit and then go back to your old habits again. Just like a relationship, there's no deadline in a relationship. The entire point of a relationship is to stay within that relationship. And of course, make improvements, make it better, and all the other things as well, right? So fitness, just like relationships, like these are infinite games. And the entire point of the game is to keep the game going. Like you just want to keep it going. You don't want to stop it, essentially. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what I wish I knew before I started losing body fat. So in case you guys don't know, I was a very chubby kid growing up. I grew up in the Netherlands, and I was the middle child. I had a younger sibling. I do have a younger sibling, and I have an older brother. I'm the middle guy. And what was funny for me growing up as a kid was that I was the fat kid, because my younger brother, he was always super skinny. My older brother, he was always super skinny. Even my parents, they've always been like relatively skinny. And it's like, well, I was growing up as this fat kid, and I just kind of felt like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I the fat kid? Why am I the odd one out? What's wrong with me? Is it because of my genetics? Is it because of my eating habits? Like, what could it be? And it very well was because of my eating habits, to be honest, and my lack of exercise at the time. But yeah, I was the odd one out in my family, and then even within my friend group as well. I was always like that fat kid, that chubby kid. And back when I used to grow up in the Netherlands, soccer, or football, as they would call it there, was huge, absolutely massive. And I was always that kid who just got bullied into being the goalie. And funnily enough, I was actually a really good goalie. Like, I would obviously cover most of the net because of my size, because I was so fat. But I was actually a great goalie. I was actually quite athletic as well, despite my size. But yeah, I got made fun of as a kid. I got picked on. And especially during the holidays, vacations, at the pool, at the beach, I would always be that one guy who will just keep their shirt on, right? Because I didn't want to show off my body. I was insecure. I was weak. I was not confident. I was introverted. I was shy. I was just everything. Like the extreme opposite of what you would want to be, basically, as a human being, whether you're a girl or a guy, right? Because you want to be confident. You want to put yourself out there. You want to talk to people. You want to be able to comfortably take off your shirt. And that was not me, unfortunately. So I know what it's like being on that end of things, but I also know now, right? Now that I'm 25 and I've gone through my transformation, I've gone through the journey, what it's like to be on the opposite end of things, where during the summertime, I'm the one who takes off their shirts the most. Like I'm the guy walking around with his shirt off all the time. Like I walk around the park with my shirt off. I want to show it off, right? Like I want to expose it because I'm proud of the body that I've built and I feel confident in it. And my self-esteem has increased. My energy levels have increased. My productivity has increased. My entire life has drastically increased by simply just getting my own body into better shape. So I know that's been a very long introduction into this live stream, but let's get into it. Because if you are trying to lose body fat and you feel stuck right now, this is probably why. And I'm about to expose the mistakes that almost every beginner makes. These are the exact mistakes I made before I ever got shredded for bodybuilding. And these are the mistakes that my clients made before dropping 30 to 50 pounds inside of the Barbarian squad. And these mistakes are the reason most people fail fat loss and think their metabolism is broken. I thought my metabolism was broken when I first got into fitness because, once again, my siblings, my brothers, they were honestly pretty much eating the exact same thing I was eating. They were eating like the junk food, but looking back in hindsight, they were not eating as much of it, which we'll discuss in today's live stream. But yeah, it is not your metabolism. Your metabolism is not broken. So I can assure you of that. And now, if I knew these sooner, I would have saved years, and I literally mean years of frustration. So before we get into it, I've competed in 3 natural bodybuilding shows. I have ran 3 marathons, and I just competed in my first High Rocks competition. I've also coached hundreds of busy men with jobs and kids who needed a system that actually works with real life. And the Barbarian method has transformed men who struggled for years. Now, by the end of this live stream, you will understand the biggest fat loss mistakes and how to avoid them. You'll walk away with clarity. You will understand exactly what works and what does not work, and you will never waste time again. So please, 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 please pay attention. Write it down on your notes app. Have a pen and paper handy. Just write down notes. Ask questions, because if you were to actually listen to what I'm about to tell you in this live stream, it'll quite literally save you years of frustration. So I'm going to break this down into the key mistakes beginners always make. I will give you the science, I will give you the real client case studies, and I will show you exactly how to fix each mistake so you can finally, once and for all, drop the body fat consistently for good. No yo-yo dieting up and down, no just binge restrict cycles, none of that crap. So let's start with point number 1. Eating healthy and thinking that alone causes fat loss. Biggest mistake I made. This is easily the number 1 trap. People think salads, smoothies, rice bowls, and wraps are automatically fat loss foods. And yes, they do have some characteristics that make sticking to a calorie deficit a whole lot easier, because most healthy foods tend to be higher in volume and lower in calories, meaning that you get a lot more volume per the amount of calories that you get for that single food. But there are also certain healthy foods that are the opposite, where they're more calorically dense, meaning that you get less calories per the amount of volume you get. So it's all about making wise food choices. No matter how healthy the food is, how unhealthy the food is, it is all about calories in versus calories out. Because healthy does not always mean a low calorie. Avocados, nuts, seeds, oils, granola, nut butters, especially peanut butter, smoothies with multiple fruits. These can double your calories without you even knowing. And now one of my clients, Davey, he used to eat quote unquote clean every single day, but made every meal with heavy oils. He would drench his chicken and rice meal with olive oil. He would cook his ground beef in butter, right? And yes, like these are all healthy foods that you can and 100% should incorporate into your diet, but in moderation. Just like you should incorporate maybe some unhealthier snacks, some sweets into your diet in moderation. Everything in moderation. Because my client Davey, he thought he was eating light, right? Just some healthy, clean meals with his olive oils. But he was accidentally adding 400 calories per day in olive oil just alone. Now, once we managed portions, he actually dropped 20 pounds without changing any of the actual foods he ate. That is one of the easiest things anyone can start doing right away. Well, look at how you actually make and prepare your food. If you're drenching your foods in olive oils and butters and just completely drenching it, one of the easiest ways that you can save hundreds of calories without changing the actual food that you eat is by limiting the amount of oils and butters and things you add into your actual meal. Substitute that for like a olive oil cooking spray and just spray it for maybe 1 or 2 seconds just so it doesn't stick to the pan. And that alone will obviously make it nonstick, and you will therefore save hundreds of calories throughout the day, thousands of calories throughout the week, which could put you, could literally save you or shave a couple pounds off every single month by that small little change alone. And now scientific reviews from the National Institutes of Health confirms this. Most people underestimate calorie intake by up to 40% when they rely on healthy eating. So the thing here that I really want to just hammer down is calorie awareness is the real key. So here's the fix. Healthy food is good. And you guys, like, you see it on my story all the time. Like, I only eat healthy food. I love healthy food. My taste buds have just adjusted to it. But I still track my food. I still have my digital food scale. I still measure everything on my MyFitnessPal app. I still do all of that because, like, I could very easily eat, like, because I love avocado so much, I love peanut butter so much, I could very easily eat thousands of calories in just avocados alone and peanut butter alone and salmon alone. Like, are you kidding me? If you give me salmon right now, I could hammer down like pounds of salmon. It is so good, but I know it's also very calorically dense. So I got to be careful with that. So yes, healthy is good, but calories matter more. You need portion awareness. Moving on to point 2, not tracking anything. You cannot improve what you do not measure. Beginners try to guess their calories, guess their protein intake, guess how many steps they get in, guess their training volume. And guessing is the reason results are inconsistent, right? Because if you do not have any numbers to look back on, if you don't have any data to look back on, how can you actually make any informed decisions? Just like businesses keep track of their KPIs, their numbers, their percentages, like everything. Businesses do it. And businesses do it so they can make the wise decision in regards to what decision to make moving forward. You should treat your body, if you actually care about your results, as a business, as a system. So measure the metrics that you actually care about. If you care about your weight, you should probably measure your weight. If you care about your health, you should probably measure your calories, your macros. If you care about your cardiovascular health, you should probably keep track of your daily steps. How much cardio are you doing? If you care about getting stronger, getting bigger muscles, you should probably keep track of the amount of weight you use, how much weekly volume you use per muscle group per week, how much weight you used, how many reps, how many sets. Because if you don't, you're just guessing. And if you're guessing, you are slacking. My client Reagan thought he was eating around, this is so funny. He thought he was eating around 2,000 calories. Everyone says this. Oh, I eat so much. But when we tracked it, he was eating closer to 3,000 calories. Once he gained awareness, the fat started dropping instantly. The International Journal of Behavioral Nutrition found that self-monitoring is one of the strongest predictors of fat loss. Tracking in some form is always superior to guessing. Always, always, always. So start small. You don't have to track every single metric. Like, of course not, because that can be overwhelming. But just keep track of a couple key metrics. Keep track of your weight a couple times a week. Just be aware fluctuations do happen, but just keep track of it. Keep track of a couple of the meals that you eat. Keep track of how much protein you eat. Keep track of how much weight you lift. Just a couple key metrics. Have a step tracker. Keep track of your daily steps. Just some easy things. Nothing too overwhelming, nothing too much. Just do it. Because tracking in some form is always superior to guessing. Always, always, always. So track your calories or protein or steps. Just pick one of them Any data is better than no data. And then from there, you can always scale up. If you're like me and you want to just be aware of just every single metric, go ahead and do that. But if that's too overwhelming, if that's too much for you, hire a coach, get a coach to do it for you, right? Just do something so that you can actually improve it. But don't be upset with the results that you did not get, but the work that you did not put in. Moving on to point 3, overeating healthy snacks and drinks. This kind of combines with point number 1, but this is where people sabotage themselves. The smoothies, the juices, the almonds, right? The protein bars, the coffee creamers. Oh, that's a dangerous one. The sauces. Oh, super dangerous. The dressings. These are all calorie bombs disguised as being healthy. Now, my client Jordan, he was drinking 3 cups of coffee with creamer each morning thinking it was harmless. 200 calories every single day. Once we swapped to black coffee, he started losing fat immediately, just plain black. I've been drinking black coffee for years now. It is honestly like my favorite drink, to be honest. Like I love it so much. My favorite part of the morning is taking like that first sip of coffee. Oh, especially once that caffeine hits, I mean, it is game over. Productivity through the roof. And yeah, your taste buds will kind of adjust to it as well. Like if you insist on using creamers and sugars, like by all means, I'm not saying you cannot have coffees and creamers into your morning coffee. You very certainly can. You just have to keep track of it. Going back to point number 2, keep track, right? Because it can very easily sneak into a lot of things and very easily add 1, 2, 300 extra calories during the day without you even noticing or realizing it, right? So Harvard School of Public Health has multiple studies showing that liquid calories bypass hunger signals and lead to overconsumption. Here's the tricky thing about liquid calories, whether it's a juice or the creamers or milks or whatever else you drink in liquid form. They tend to not really fill you up. And there's a reason why most hard gainers, so people who have a hard time putting on weight in general, tend to revert to liquid calories. They will take their regular bowl of oatmeal and they will add that into a blender and shake it with a cup of milk, add a scoop of peanut butter, add a scoop of protein powder, add a banana, and they'll turn it into a liquid form so they can drink it. The reason why they do that and drink it instead of eating it is because when you drink your calories, it pretty much bypasses your hunger signals and it's almost been like pre-digested in a way, almost like where it's almost been pre-chewed, because the entire purpose of you chewing food is to like turn it into liquid form so that your body can more easily break it down and digest it through your digestive system, right? It's like you wouldn't just swallow a steak. Like you choke and you'd actually probably die. Like don't do that, please. Like chew your steak just like you would chew any other food. Whereas liquid calories, like they're literally pre-chewed for you, which sounds kind of gross and disgusting, but that's literally what it does. And so your body doesn't have to work as hard to like really break it down and honestly really digest it, because it's, once again, has already been like pre-digested for you. So if you have a hard time with just hunger and sticking to your calories, always recommend to not drink your calories under any circumstance. Always opt for eating whole foods in any circumstance, in any situation. And if you insist on having a drink, swap to a 0-calorie alternative. Like guys, we live in 2026. If you are still drinking sugary Cokes and like sodas and like all these other drinks, like even juices, like there's like 0-calorie lemonade, like there are 0-calorie alternatives. And don't be scared of the aspartame. Like do not be scared of that. It does not cause cancer, especially in small amounts. Going back to what I said earlier, everything in moderation. And I would so much rather have you drink diet sodas in moderation than drink full sugar Cokes in moderation. Like it's not even up for debate. Don't even debate me on this. Your health metrics will be far, far healthier by you drinking diet sodas and therefore losing weight, as opposed to you drinking the sugary sodas and therefore gaining weight. Because the biggest improvement in blood markers that you will see is by simply in the reduction in weight, just by simply being at a lighter body weight. And if you can get your body to a lighter body weight by swapping the sugary drinks with 0-calorie drinks, your blood markers, your health metrics will all drastically improve. And that's the easiest thing anyone can do. Just like I said earlier, simply swapping your regular oil for a non-stick cooking spray, save hundreds of calories. Swapping your sugary drink for a diet drink, save hundreds of calories. without changing, honestly, anything to your lifestyle. It is so, so easy. Just small little lifestyle changes can make a huge difference, especially over a long time horizon, 100%. So here's the fix. Prioritize whole foods if you can, avoid liquid calories at all costs, and keep snacks portioned and controlled. Let's move on to point 4, doing way too much cardio and then also ignoring your daily steps. This is the mistake I used to make a lot. Most beginners jump straight into high intensity interval training, high intensity cardio, whether it's running on the treadmill, doing these crazy circuits that you find on YouTube, doing these crazy boot camps. But what actually drives sustainable fat loss is something called your NEAT, which stands for your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This literally includes your daily movement, your daily steps, and your general activity. I have gotten shredded down to, I don't even know, 6% body fat for all my 3 bodybuilding shows, mainly by walking. I did not do a single HIIT training cardio class. And my clients, all of them, lose fat with simple step goals. Walking increases calorie burn without killing your joints or your recovery. And now a study from the Journal of Physical Activity shows that walking increases daily caloric expenditure far more sustainably than formal cardio in beginners because people can actually stick to it. This is the biggest thing. Sustainability is always the key when it comes to anything you do in life, because if you can only do something for a bit, a couple days, a couple of weeks, and then you just fall off, it's like, well, what was the point of that? You literally wasted time, energy, money, resources on something that you cannot sustain. And now, sure, there's a time and place where maybe you do an event, you sign up for something, and it's meant to be extreme. Like for me, like doing my bodybuilding shows, that is extreme. I do not recommend anyone else to do it. I more than likely will never do it ever again because it's not something that I preach to my clients. It's not really something that I condone either. But even like running an Ironman or something like that, it's like you're training for an Ironman. Like you're not supposed to sustain that type of training all the time, right? So yes, there's a time and place when you do something extreme that is meant to be unsustainable. But if you want to do something and have it last, right? So specifically weight loss, fat loss, this is something that you can sustain actually. Then you should probably find a sustainable approach, right? And most people have access to putting on a pair of shoes and walking outside, whereas not everyone enjoys doing HIIT cardio classes at 6 a.m. every single morning or doing crazy treadmill workouts. Walking increases calorie burn without killing your joints or recovery. So here's the fix. Get 10,000 steps in every single day. Track it using your phone or a Fitbit. I got mine literally 5 years ago for $50 off Amazon. It's a knockoff Chinese Fitbit version. It's waterproof. I charge it maybe once a month. Very durable. It's lasted me up until this day. One of the best investments I've ever made on my health and fitness journey. Literally. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, hopefully it's multiple things, but if there's just one, get a step tracker. Get yourself a step tracker. I don't wear it to sleep because I know a lot of people get neurotic when it comes to like tracking your sleep. And whenever the watch says that they got a bad sleep score, it kind of like predetermines how their day goes. When in reality, like, I don't really think you should like rely on a watch to tell you how well you slept. Like you should know how well you slept, but that's besides the point. Like I'm not even going to touch on that, but just wear it during the day, take it off at night before you sleep, and then just keep track of your daily steps. I know exactly how many steps I'm at right now. My step goal is 20,000. I'm at 5,000 right now. So I got 15,000 left. It holds me accountable. I'm going to be going on a run later today. So I should be able to knock out another 10,000. And then I should probably go on another walk later on this evening. And then boom, I get my steps in. I know exactly where I'm at. And I know exactly how consistent I am when it comes to my daily steps and my daily total calorie burn throughout the day. So 10,000 steps a day, lift some weights, and save the intense cardio for later, only if needed. Like, don't make this your first resort. Make the intense cardio stuff like the last resort, if any at all. Let's move on to point number 5. And this is not eating enough protein. Now, protein is the absolute king when it comes to fat loss because it does a couple of actually amazing things. Number 1, it controls your hunger. So if hunger is an issue for you, protein. Number 2, it preserves muscle mass. So if you actually care about having muscle and keeping muscle while you burn body fat, you should probably eat more protein. It also increases the number of calories you burn digesting the food, right? So compared to carbohydrates and fats, protein takes a bit longer for your body to break down and digest, meaning that it burns more calories trying to digest protein. So I had one of my clients named Charles who was barely eating like 50 grams of protein per day before joining the program. Now, once we simply just increased his protein to 160 grams of protein per day, he was full for hours and stopped snacking entirely. His fat loss literally doubled. What you'll notice by you increasing your protein intake, you're not going to be feeling the urge to like snack in between meals or graze because the protein is keeping you full. So, a rule of thumb to keep in mind, with every single meal that you eat, add protein, whether it's chicken, beef, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, shrimp, salmon. It is not a complete meal unless you add protein into it. You are not a 5-year-old kid. You do not need to be eating meals that are carb and fat heavy. Like, no, add protein to it. You are a man. You are an adult. Add protein. Eat protein. You need protein. Now, multiple studies from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that high protein diets lead to significantly greater fat loss due to the thermic effect and appetite control. So it is literally the greatest macronutrients. And now, yes, you do need all 3 macronutrients. You need your carbs, you need your fats, but you also need your protein. So make sure you add a good balance of each, but definitely do not neglect the protein, especially if you're trying to lose body fat. You need this. This should be the cornerstone of every single meal. So to fix this, eat lean proteins in every single meal. Aim for 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I usually stick to the 1 gram per pound of body weight kind of metric because it's easy to follow, it's easy to remember, and I would rather be on the higher end of protein than the lower end of protein, especially when it comes to the incomplete sources that you may track. Because, for example, if you eat a ton of broccoli actually has a ton of protein, but it's not a complete source of protein. So just to err on the safe side of things, just aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's easy to remember, easy to keep track of. If you weigh 200 pounds, just eat 200 grams of protein. Try to get most of it, at the very least 50% of your protein intake, from like actual high quality sources that have a full amino acid profile, which basically means it has all 9 essential amino acids. But you can find this in most meats, dairy products. So as long as you eat meat, eat dairy, you should be good to go. Moving on to point 6, going all in on Monday and then quitting by Friday. Who here gets motivated on a Monday and then burns out by Friday? I think most people have experienced that, right? But perfection is the enemy of fat loss. Beginners always try to do everything perfect. They go all in, they do like 0 sugar diets, 0 carbs, no eating out. They just completely restrict themselves. And when Friday comes around, they snap because the plan is simply too unrealistic. The people who succeed long-term are the ones who allow for flexibility. My client Kuba from Poland, who travels constantly for business. When he first joined the program, he thought he needed to cook every single meal in order to lose body fat. And he thought that in order for me to do that, I need to like make all these crazy sacrifices. Now, once I taught him how to navigate restaurants and travel meals, he dropped 20 pounds while flying between Africa and Europe. Studies from the Journal of Obesity show that consistent, imperfect adherence beats perfect short-term dieting every single time. And I really think that this whole perfectionist mindset is really holding a lot of people back, because so many people, like I talk with a lot of people throughout the day on calls, and they always wait for the perfect moments. They wait for work to get less busy. They wait for the responsibilities to die down a bit. They wait, and they just end up waiting for months and years and have not made any change. Whereas the person who decided to take messy action and then actually has failed a couple times, messed up a couple times, but keeps on bouncing back and keeps on iterating and keeps on learning from his mistake, will far surpass the person who keeps on waiting for the perfect moment. So stop waiting and start taking action, start doing, because I guarantee you, you're going to learn so much throughout the process. And if you can stick to something while you're busy, imagine how much easier it'll be for you when you're not that busy. Like if you can go start a fat loss journey, start a fitness program during the holidays, when everything is hectic, when there's food around, when you're going to be traveling, when you're busy with work deadlines, when you got projects, imagine how much easier it'll be for you to stick to the fitness program, to stick to your fat loss journey when the holidays are over, when January comes around. I mean, oh my goodness, you have so much momentum behind you. You're going to be far surpassing people who wait until January 1st. So if you have ambition, like if you have aspirations of actually losing the 20 pounds, get started today. Just take that first step today. Start tracking some of your food today. Drink some water today. Go on a walk today. Get your gym membership today. Take messy action. Just do it. So focus on consistency and not perfection. If you can sustain it, you can succeed. Moving on to point 7, not lifting weights or training hard enough. Fat loss is not just about losing weight on the scale. Like, it's not. It is about losing fat while keeping muscle, because there's a huge difference between fat loss and weight loss. Because fat loss implies that you're just losing body fat while maintaining, if not building, muscle mass, whereas weight loss implies that you're both losing body fat and losing muscle mass, which is not what you want. Unless you want to end up looking like a skinny, fat, slender, Schmeagol person from Lord of the Rings. We don't want that. We want to look healthy, energetic, lean, muscular, low body fat, high muscle mass. Like, that's what we're after. We're not after this low muscle mass, frail, skinny fat type of physique. Like, no one wants that, right? So lift weights, lift heavy weights, and train hard. Beginners, here's what they do, and here's what I used to do. They do endless cardio and avoid weights because they think lifting is for bulking. But that is wrong. Lifting weights is the key to looking lean and athletic and aesthetic. Every single client you see inside of the Barbarian squad, inside of our coaching program, is built on strength training. We don't have them do weird, crazy HIIT workouts. Like, no, we have them lift actual weights, compound lifts, heavy, in the 5 to 10 rep range with progressive overload. My client David, he gained lean muscle mass while being in college, while losing body fat, because he focused on getting stronger with the compound lifts week after week, increasing his bench press, his squat, his deadlift, his overhead press, getting stronger on the core lifts. Resistance training also increases your metabolic rate, your muscle retention, and long-term fat loss. And this has been proven repeatedly in sports science literature. So please fix it. Lift 3 to 4 times per week. Focus on progressive overload. And then cardio comes second. Last point here is point 8. This is a big one. This is a massive one. And a lot of people make this one. Relying only on motivations instead of systems. I am a huge systems guy, and I used to not be. I used to be that guy who would rely on this fleeting motivation thing. But as we all know, motivation dies, and systems win. Beginners try to lose fat using willpower alone and burn out very quickly. Whereas most of my successful clients do not rely on motivation. They rely on structure. And what does that look like? Here's what it looks like. They meal prep. They have a weekly grocery shopping routine. They set daily step count goals. They plan out their workouts in advance. They create an environment where success is the default. A study from the British Journal of Health Psychology shows that implementation, intentions, and routines drastically increase adherence to diet and training plans. So build routines and systems and do not rely on motivation. A couple of real life examples I can give you. And I'll just be honest with you guys. I do not always feel motivated to do my workout, to eat healthy, to go on a run, especially during this time of year. Like, guys, it is December. Despite me living in Texas, it is cold. Let me just look at what the temperature is. It is 56 degrees, which, yeah, I don't know like if that's relative cold to you guys, but to me that is very cold, which is quite ironic because not only did I grow up in the Netherlands where it tends to rain a lot, I also grew up in Canada at the age of 11, and it tends to snow there a lot. And it's very cold there. And I'll be honest, I was miserable. And it's not fun. But despite that, I still show up and do the work. Why? Well, it's because I don't rely on my motivation. If I just relied on my motivation, I would not be here sitting with you guys. I would not be creating all the content. I would not be coaching I would not have this coaching business. I would not have this platform that I have right now. I would not have anything that I have right now if I just relied on my motivation. I wouldn't. I'd probably be a fat piece of crap sitting on the couch living with my parents in the basement, with nothing to show for in life. That's if I were to just rely on my emotions and rely on motivation. But I learned the hard way that I can't trust motivation. Motivation, it'll be there maybe for a day, 2 days, a week if you're lucky. Then it'll just disappear, especially when things get tough. On those dark days, on those lazy days when you don't feel like getting out of bed. That is where systems come into place. So going back to the examples that I wanted to share with you, I have all my meal prep in my fridge. So what does that mean? If I feel lazy, if I don't feel like cooking, guess what? Problem solved. I don't have to cook. I have my meal prep. I used to have a gym membership that was 30 minutes away. And there was just so much friction involved towards me from starting at home to getting there, like 30 minutes there and back. I mean, yeah, so much friction involved, right? Whereas now I mainly just work out upstairs in the apartment gym. Very frictionless, almost no friction. It's almost easier for me to work out than to not work out, right? Same thing with running. Instead of me like driving to like a park, I just run outside, just down the road. Problem solved. Rely on systems, not on motivation. So that is going to wrap up this live stream. Hopefully you guys took some value out of it. If you guys have any other questions for me, drop them down below. And now if you need help losing 30 to 50 pounds within 3 to 6 months, all without sacrificing your favorite foods or spending hours in a gym or hours on that stupid treadmill, what you can go ahead and do, schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals, we'll go over your current struggles and create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush them in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.